So, Ryan, the current single is Chasing After You. It's obviously a collaboration with your wife, Maren Morris. Now, I know that this song was originally written by Brinley Addington and Jerry Flowers. And it's a song that was kicking around Music Row in Nashville for a while. And I know at various stages, other artists had it on hold to record it. And you yourself apparently even experimented with different versions of it. So, how did it when was the moment everything clicked in?
Oh, my record company really wanted us to put it out, and it seemed like the single cycles would line up for the first time ever, and I just didn't quite love the recording yet, and so I sent it to my friend Teddy, who's in my band, and said, "Why don't you take a stab at like starting this recording?" And it came back so kind of the guitar and a lot of the percussion you hear was Teddy, and then Aaron finished it. But I just once we sort of had the bones of that recording, it felt like this is going to be really, really special. So it's been an amazing ride, and it's opened up so many doors to get to do what we're doing now.
I mean, congratulations on Chasing After You, obviously receiving two CMA Award nominations. You must have just been thrilled.
Yeah, I feel like we've gone, I've gotten to go so much that it just feels like somebody gave me a new chair to sit in. So it's very special to get recognized, and you always hope that it will, but you never expect it. So it's very cool.
So, Chasing After You features on your debut album, Pelago, which is out on the 15th of October. Now, thinking back, your self titled debut EP came out back in 2017. And since then, there's been three more EPs. So, to now finally be at the stage when you're presenting to the world a body of work where you're going, this is who I am, this is my identity as an artist, where's your mind at? Are you excited? Are you anxious about how it's going to be received?
You're all those things, and you're also just excited that you don't have to do another EP because I'm just tired of it. I I love this piece of work, and I don't know if it ever, when you're in the middle of it, you have no idea kind of what it's going to turn out to be. But I'm also really pumped for people to hear it, and I'm really pumped for it. Just the reaction's been really positive, and it makes you kind of take a deep breath and relax and truly enjoy that moment.
Mhm. So, as has become the norm these days, in the build up for the release of this album, a couple of the tracks have been drip fed and are available for streaming and downloading. I want to ask you about two in particular. Uh, Tab with my name on it, because I saw you co wrote it with Aaron Ice and Joey Hyde. But I also noticed that this song was recorded in 2016 by a Canadian country artist called Dallas Smith. So, what was it about the song that made you want to revisit it and give it another life?
Um, I love Dallas's version of it, and it never really crossed over to the American country radio. So I think adding the strings really added to the cinematic feel of it, and I'm really thankful that we got to do that.
I think, my favorite song in this album is June, July, August. I think it's so catchy. And when those drums kick in, the song just goes to another level. It's
All those
kind of got
cannons.
yeah, go ahead.
We call those the cannons.
I mean, it's got this sort of Tim McGraw feel good summer vibe to it. I mean, I know you wrote it with, that was Zach Crowell and Chase McGill. Tell me, because that's the one I keep going back to. Tell me a bit about how that one came together.
Well, we wrote Sunrise, Sunburn, Sunset for Luke Bryan, and then Waves for Luke Bryan, that same trio of songwriters. And it's very incredible. Like it's a really cool group because Chase is, I don't know. I hate admitting people are better lyricists than me, but Chase is one of them. And because we both take so much pride in it. But Chase is an incredible lyricist. So I just half the time am sort of tying his lines together and singing the demo that Zach makes. Zach is Sam Hunt's producer and is an incredible songwriter on his own too. And this felt like the third song in the trilogy, right? It's like these beach songs we get together and write because the first one worked. And we had Sunrise and we had Waves, and it's like, oh, I feel like I have to have one of these for me. So June, July, August, JJ didn't get out it did not make the rounds in town. That one was definitely put in my back pocket.
You mentioned those two massive number ones for Luke Bryan, and I mean, you're probably tired of people always reciting to you your songwriting credits, but it has to be, the audience here, I think, really do need to be aware of some of the songs you've written. Blake Shelton and Ashley Monroe's Lonely Tonight, Lady A's What If I Never Get Over You. Even I was surprised you wrote Heartless, the Diplo and Morgan Wallen one, Kane Brown's Worldwide Beautiful. Is there a song along the way that you wrote and then you stepped away from, and then a while later you heard it on the radio and saw it climb the charts and you thought, God, I didn't know that was going to be so big?
You never think anything's going to be big. But I love the Kane song so much, and I'm thankful that you brought it up. We wrote it in a time where it was really just a difficult, and it's still not the easiest of times in America, but just really proud to have a song with those guys. And I think that because we write so much music in Nashville, that like that's half the fun, is getting it on someone else's project. And I've never had any like regret as far as releasing some stuff and having, wishing I didn't. I think I'm pretty good about making sure that if I love something for my record, I make sure that people know. So it doesn't really. We only ran into that issue one time, and it was with To a T, and my publisher had pitched it to Jake Owen, and I had to and say, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna do this one myself." And his response was, "I was wondering what was wrong with you." And so he's always been a massive supporter, and I think that like the idea in Nashville about songs is hey, I can always write another one. So anytime someone records your music, it's such an honor.
This is maybe like the $1 million question, but what advice would you give to, aspiring songwriters? It doesn't necessarily have to be within country, just people out there trying to get a break. What advice?
I mean, I tell people who want to move to Nashville and do what I do, and this might not be specific to every genre, but I say you should write 100 songs. And it sounds like a lot. It's like eating a 55-ounce steak, but that's 2 songs a week for a year, right? And that's sort of what the job is. And I feel like a lot of times everybody who wants to work in music, they don't I think what you should focus on is getting better more so than getting somewhere. Because at some point, if you improve as a writer or an artist, at some point they can't say no. Like the gatekeepers who get your songs to artists or on the radio or whatever your dream is, like being good will always get you in the door. So focus on getting better, getting something, and not getting somewhere. And I also think just, man, pretend like you are getting paid to do this for a living. Like write 2 songs a week and pretend like it's your job, and you'd be amazed how much better you get, how much faster you get, how much better you get at finishing songs. That's the hardest part, starting and not stopping. So it's definitely a skill you develop, and it's something it's really important, I think, to have that mindset.
Were you surprised to see that Toby Keith had recorded Old School for his new album? Because I know that's a song yourself, Maren, and Brett Tyler wrote years ago.
Heck yeah, I'm surprised, but I'm super thankful. Like, I'm surprised at every cut. I mean, I never imagined like writing something. I never walked away from something thinking it was a hit song. Like you always write them, and then you think like, well, maybe if I write enough, 1 or 2 will work out. But yeah, I mean, we're really thankful for that and proud of it. And hopefully it's a big hit.
Back in May, you made your debut on stage at the Grand Ole Opry, and like a madman, I actually, with the time difference, I stayed up to watch. It was like 1:30, 2:30 in the morning over here.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. What was that experience like?
It was incredibly special, and my family got to be there, and I got to sing with Maren, and we just truly, you know what? If you only get to do it once, I'm glad it was like that.
Mm-hmm. We last did a proper sort of sit-down interview back in November of 2017 in this tiny room backstage at the Academy in Dublin. You were opening for Maren, and I remember you said to me, understandably, it was your first time in Ireland. You were quite anxious about how you were going to be received. And then when you came out on stage, I mean, the venue was packed before you started. People were singing along. You had the crowd in the palm of your hand. Moments like that, so far from home, and particularly somewhere like Ireland, where country's not like, like mainstream music, is that really hard to wrap your head around?
I mean, the fact that we're talking today is crazy to me. Um, I I think you just don't realize, I think because we have a very normal day-to-day life, you don't realize how big of a reach this place has and how big of a, like how just how much potential there is every time you put a release out. And I still think about myself like I'm a songwriter, so I'm comfortable talking to you and I'm fine to play for 20,000 people, but anything in between there, you sort of are constantly nervous and constantly second guessing yourself and have just the exact same anxieties that you would imagine someone like me to have. So uh, it is wild, just the opportunities that come from getting to make music in Nashville the way we do, and also just what a song like Chasing After You can, just the places it can take you.
And just finally, Ryan, in March of last year, 2020, yourself and Maren obviously welcomed your son Hayes. And this, maybe it's an obvious or stupid thing to ask you, but I would have assumed getting to spend so much time together at home with the baby has been sort of like the shining light and probably what's got you through the pandemic, right?
I mean, nobody wants to hear about the hard parts of this because everybody's going through it themselves. It was amazing to sit. I mean, I haven't missed anything with Hayes, and I was expecting to miss a ton. So I will never, I mean, there's no way to even express how thankful I have been to get those moments with him.
Listen, the album again, Pelago, out October 15th. I hope it's not too long before you're standing on a stage over here singing the songs on this album. I appreciate your time so much, and give Maren my best too, because I'm always shocked every time I get the opportunity to speak to both of you, how grounded both of you are.
Well, thank you. And, you know, we're just really grateful that we have an opportunity to talk to so many people on that, in that part of the world, just because we do love it so much. And it's been amazing, an amazing part of our journey, and something we're always thankful for. So great to see you, Stuart. Thank you.